Well, we just want to give you a heads up that there is a mention of incest in here, and we talk about the topic. So we need to give you a trigger warning. If that means that you guys can't listen, I totally understand. Just take care of yourselves and have a good day. With my eyes wide open, I want to welcome you to the World's Worst Podcast, episode 13.
Don't stop!
Episode 13 for November 9th. Today we'll be talking about feeling like Dookie, comedy meta, pen servicing, quoties, episode 8, Twin Peaks, and we'll have some typical technical issues that we seem to have all the time.
No, we didn't, because they'll never know unless you mention it. Dick.
Today our entry music is MDK and Evan King with Valhalla. Enjoy the episode.
Everybody.
Oh yeah, that's Ben.
Oh hi, that's Devin.
See you guys.
I'm trying to cut back on caffeine, and so I have a headache today.
Oh, that sucks.
And I've taken some ibuprofen, but you know, it'll sort itself out eventually. I just need to keep drinking water, and I might have to have a little bit of something just to ease the pain. So I mean, yesterday, like I downgraded from I was at like 2 to 3 energy drinks a day.
Mm-hmm.
And so yesterday I brought it down to a 12-ounce can of Coke.
Ah, yeah.
And so
yeah, that's gonna do it. Were they full on energy drinks, or were they those Mountain Dew things?
No, yeah, like 140 to 250 milligrams of caffeine per drink. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna do it.
The full-on energy drinks, yeah. Yeah, I've kind of not been going for the Mountain Dews lately. Maybe I should, because there would be less caffeine, and I might be in a better situation. I don't know. It's whatever.
My acid reflux is really bad today.
Ooh.
At least I think it's acid reflux. I'm having chest pains, and I'm a bit of a horse. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that would be a very specific kind of chest pain, though.
It is a very specific kind of chest pain. It's stabby, like right. Like if you were to within 4 inches in my chest, so it's annoying.
Yeah,
at least I think it's acid reflux. I mean, I have acid reflux. But that doesn't mean it always happens. So
Yeah. I don't know. This is going to be a real jolly episode of the podcast. We both just feel like shit.
yeah, dude, I understand. I'm also very tired. I stayed up late playing Civilization Beyond Earth.
Oh yeah, are you getting more into it now?
Yeah. Well, when I got it, I was drunk. So I was just like, I don't want to look at this. I can't.
Right. Yeah.
And so, oh no, I'm peeking a bit.
Don't worry about it.
So yeah, it was just way too beyond me because it's a complicated game and it's way different than Civilization. Like, my dad's concern was that why he hasn't bought the game is that he's concerned that it was just Civilization in space.
Right, yeah.
But it's definitely not that. It's almost entirely different.
Huh.
Like, they have some things are, obviously it's a turn-based strategy game made by the same company. And so you have some things that are really just superficial similarities.
Right. Like, they're going to think of similar solutions to sort of, like, control problems or, design, like, resources or sort of design questions.
Yep. But it's entirely its own thing, it's awesome. It's a great game.
So out of 5 stars.
Oh, I give it 5 stars.
Yeah? Oh.
Yeah. Definitely. Turn-based strategy is one of my favorite genres. It's probably my favorite genre.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me a little biased, but
well, but I mean, I think, and actually, this is, I think, an important philosophical thing to consider. I don't think that it is reasonable to sort of look at like on the sort of the 5-star scale. I think on some level that has to be relative to the genre, particularly now since they are so differentiated in a lot of ways. Like for some, like, or at least for something like a Civilization style game, that's a very particular kind of experience, and so it's okay for you to be a fan of that genre and to say it's really good, because if anything, that kind of means more, because it is. I think a lot of those things are more specific. Like, for me, I'm not I'm not as into those types of games. They don't interest me as much, and so because, like, it being a really good one of those games isn't going to mean so much to me, and I would not probably have as I was going to say fair, but I don't think that's quite accurate. But I wouldn't be able to gauge it as well as yourself.
I would put Civ 5 as being the top of the head of the pack.
Yeah.
As far as turn-based strategy games, and I would put Civ Earth pretty close to that, or Beyond Earth pretty close to that.
So it'd be more like a 4.5.
Yeah, or like a low 5.
A low? Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
A low 5.
Well, there's that's the problem with that kind of rating system too.
No, it's a problem with you and the way you're judging it.
No. Like, I think there are. What about the best sort of thing of its thing, right? Like,
yeah.
The best is still in the same genre or not genre, but in the same category of quality as things that are really, 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 really good.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So, like, it just pulls ahead slightly. It's so, like, if we had a more nuanced thing, like from 1 to 100 or something, or 0 to 100.
Oh, but then how do you judge between like an 87 and an 88? We've had this conversation before, I suppose, but
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's only marginally better. And so I think that is a much more accurate way of doing it, because it is marginally better. But like Civ 5 is a good jump, but I wouldn't, if we were grading 1 out of 6 or 0 to 6.
1 out of 6. How do we
no, I'm saying right. Just let me finish my example.
Okay.
Like, if we did 1 to 6, right? Mm-hmm. A 5-star would be immense. You know, it's no, that doesn't work. Yeah, I don't have a solution to this problem.
It is, yeah, and that's, I mean, you know, and I'm being a bit of an ass here intentionally, but yeah, it is hard to try and find like objective, arbitrary scales for this sort of thing, because inherently it is the thing we are measuring is neither of those and can't be.
And I also think this might be a communication issue, because, like, let's say, because even trying to word this, my 1 out of 6, my 6 thing solution is difficult. Like, if we were to just add one more number to any given scale, and that one more number is the best of the best, the leader of the pack, and everything that is the one number under it is still the best. I mean, not the best, but in the set of the best. But they're still not as good as the leader of the group.
Mm-hmm.
And so that extra number being reserved for just the leader of the group, it doesn't diminish the other 5s, but the other 5s couldn't be compared to the leader of the group. I mean, you can't say.
So like sort of the golden 5 versus a regular 5, or something like a 5 plus.
Yeah, it's like double plus good. You know what I mean? Like it's
sure, yeah. Unfortunate connotations aside.
Speaking of unfortunate connotations,
okay.
Your text last night was particularly alarming.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because I didn't understand your text at all,
right,
at first. I know what you're talking about. This is in reference to the.
Well, so yeah, this is. I mean, so yeah, today we talk about the last episode of Twin Peaks, and we'll get to that. But the conversation last night. I have my phone here. I was just sending Devin a reminder to watch the last episode for today, and it happened that as I was sending that reminder, he was already watching it. And so I was like, hey, watch Twin Peaks. Sorry for not reminding you sooner, because this was like at 8:30 at night, 9:30 for me. And he was like, oh, doing it now, actually. Nothing to apologize for. Thanks for the reminder. And then I, thinking I was, making a cheeky reference to content of the show, said, my log must have known. Which, like, as I sent it, I realized that there was a very other connotation, or 2 possible other connotations to take from that.
It was hilarious, but like it took me a while. I was like,
I don't blame you.
So I was like, there was too many things other than the intended thing for me.
Yeah, 2 being a very important number, really. Anyway,
how's your week going, man?
It's all right. Yeah, just kind of. Yeah, it's all right. I don't know. like it's kind of up and down. Like I got a grade on a midterm back that was where I thought it was, which was not as well as I wanted to do.
Oh man.
So, but I was expecting it. So that kind of brought me down a little bit. But you know, I also had a really good week in research team. You know, there's like we're really moving along with that, which is very exciting because, you know, it's like that's kind of the future for me, and like ultimately the thing I need to figure out, and the thing that my midterm proved to me, is that I need to spend more time on things, particularly those sorts of big assignments, than I'm used to, or used to having to force myself to do. And that also coincides with me realizing how bad of a situation I am in with regards to distractions at my home computer. There's just too many things I could be doing other than my schoolwork when I'm just sitting in my apartment. So I need to make more use of on-campus facilities, such as the library, or just there are places in the building, my department's building, where I could go and just with my laptop do the studying I need to do more free of distraction. So I just need to take advantage of that and, you know, not just sit around my apartment, because it's very easy to just be like, I'm gonna watch some bullshit on YouTube, or I'm gonna play a game. Like, I spent too much time last week, though actually, to be fair, I had more time to actually do leisure activities like that. But last week and into the beginning of this week, so I guess now 2 weeks ago, leading up to this week, and I had mentioned it briefly on the podcast, I was playing a simple little racing game while I was watching Event Horizon, so I wouldn't be too grossed out by things. And it's actually a really neat little game. It's on Steam. It's called GTI Racing, I believe. And it's sort of like an early 2000s era thing, like maybe like mid 2000s actually. I think it might have been 2006, excuse me. And it's all based around Volkswagen GTI, like racing cars and different environments. It's kind of cool and pretty easy, and it's just a fun little racing game to play with a controller. Not too realistic, like kind of arcadey handling, but nothing too insane. And I played like a lot of that because it was really easy to just do that at my computer. Just load that up and dick around for a while. And then I also started playing Portal 2 again.
Nice.
I got about halfway through it so far. Because it's one of those games like I've been looking at for a long time to replay, because I pretty much haven't touched it since it came out, and I love it. Like, it's a fantastic game, very well written, all that stuff. But I just never gotten back into it, and I've been meaning to replay it. So did a bit of that and that sort of thing. But yeah, so that stuff is all very present on my home computer and very easy to just jump into and fuck around with, whereas on my laptop it's a much more and partially intentionally so. I specifically went for a laptop that would serve as a functional computer on the go, but one that's not too powerful. And so I would be able to avoid those concerns using that. I think actually that's a big part of my plan tomorrow is to go onto campus early and spend the day working on stuff, because the end of the semester is getting close, and I have a couple big projects that need to get going in the meantime. So,
yeah, I realized today that we're a third of the way through November already. Like, almost a third.
Shit, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Not to change the subject on you, but I'm doing a tutorial at the local library.
Oh
in
yeah, the
January.
Minecraft thing.
Yeah, but I'm nowhere near caught up with the patch. So the big update.
Yeah, 1.8. Yeah.
So I have to. It means I need to play like an hour a day.
God, you gotta play more Minecraft.
Yeah, I'm complaining about too many good things here.
But to be fair, yeah, it is different to when it becomes your job effectively. That's a lot harder. Yeah.
Especially when I want to play Civilization Beyond Earth.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if Beyond Earth is anything like Civ 5, I'll easily put 600 to 800 hours into it. 600 to 800 hours. So, like, yeah, so when I say I really want to play that game.
Yeah, that's serious.
But, so, yeah, I need to make a dedicated effort to do that. And it's not just playing Minecraft, because, like, you gotta make more of an effort to pay attention to what the differences are. You know what I mean?
Document them, yeah. And I mean, the Minecraft wiki, I'm sure, will be very useful for that if you look into that as you're playing.
Mm-hmm. But cutting down that information to a succinct.
Yeah, what really matters, yeah.
Because if I can't just show up and read off the wiki.
Yeah.
So I have to try to make a syllabus isn't right. There's a word for what I'm talking about, but
a syllabus is a reasonable word. Yeah.
Yeah. Then syllabus.
Yeah, silly bus. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What?
Silly,
What's wrong with that?
Silly bus.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I would thought you were saying. Like,
no, that is what I said. That is what I said.
Good.
It's just the way the role of laughter that sort of developed there, the wave that built up was interesting. That reminds me. The other thing I was doing this week in my downtime was I was watching a lot of Stuart Lee's comedy. He's a British stand-up comedian, sort of. I guess the term is always used as alternative comedian, I guess. Well, and then it holds a slightly different sort of meaning in the UK than it does in the US. But he started stand up around the time I was born, so like mid to late 80s, and it was this sort of reaction to the standard of comedy at the time in terms of stand-up, where it was just jokes and just a person standing up, and a bunch of one-liners or short jokes, which was similar to what was kind of going on in the U.S., but it existed in a slightly different form in the U.K. and grew in different ways. But he's a long-form guy. Like it's almost more reasonable to say what he does are like one-man shows that are written specifically and then or are sort of developed to be cohesive wholes, rather than even something like a Louis C.K., which is really more jokes with longer discursive stories, but the whole thing is just a collection, an amalgamation, whereas largely what Stuart Lee does is more front to back, meant to be a whole piece, and he's kind of meta about everything, because like essentially consistently part of his character on stage is the comedian who doesn't understand that he's dying, on some hand. On one hand, like he'll do a lot of little things where he'll play with the audience, or like, you know, scold the audience for like not laughing at his jokes, or and not in a purely in a sort of performance piece kind of way where his jokes are just terrible and the whole bit is that he is, you know, mad about it or something. But that's definitely an element of his stand-up. There are a great many clips of him on YouTube that kind of illustrate that. And it is hard to describe, but very, very funny, incredibly smart, and very dry, but yeah, just fantastic. And I'd previously seen some of his stuff, run into some of his things a few years ago, and just randomly went back to it recently and was digging around more stuff on YouTube. And you can actually buy one of his shows from 2005, I think it is, on for like, it's like less than $10. You can buy it online. I think it was like $6 online, and download it and have it for yourself. It's quite good. The website is gofasterstripe.com, I think. Yeah, it was this little production company that did like did Stuart Lee stuff and some other things that if you're interested in Stuart Lee, you might want to check out too. And yeah, and it's all UK based, so it was done in pounds, which is why I don't remember exactly how much it costs.
Yeah.
But it's like less than $10. And yeah, it's good, and yeah, you can find a lot of his stuff on YouTube too. So I don't know, it's very, very interesting, very funny.
I have a hard time stand up. It's weird. I want to get it, but like it's not easy for me. I prefer storytelling things like the Risk for example, Risk, or the Moth, or body storytelling. Those podcasts and shows are something I can get into more easily than someone getting on stage and like, I'm going to be funny now, you know.
Well, and that's kind of part of what Stuart Lee is and represents in a way, is that it is more long form, some stories, and as a whole piece, it is it's an experience like a short book, really. Usually, an hour and 10 minutes, hour and a half. Not just about rapid fire jokes. I mean, there are bits of jokes in there, but they all serve a sort of larger purpose. It's actually very interesting. He's written a couple books for a publisher that normally does sort of illuminated texts, and that's not the right word, but like the kind of thing where you would have the original text of some classical work, and then on the opposite page you would have commentary on those pages or explanations of things. And he's done that for a couple of his most recent shows that are very interesting to see the thought and craft that goes into, like, when he specifically calls out the audience for something, it is intentional and in service of the thing he's going to do like 20 minutes later or whatever it is, and that's all very interesting to me. The sort of the mechanics of it, but yeah, it is more story based, I think. But I know what you mean. It is, stand up can be more just about like rapid fire jokes, and there's some value to that, but it is different from more long form stuff.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I want to like stand up, but it's just different. It's just not as accessible, So
yeah, that's interesting to me. So yeah, I guess I got to get outside of myself, I guess, for that, because I don't know. I like jokes. So,
jeez.
So,
Devin doesn't like jokes.
Well, no, but to me, it's like to me, I'm not concerned by the notion of someone just standing up and deciding to be funny, because to me, funny is funny at a certain point. So I guess I don't get hung up on some of that stuff. But there are some very interesting little tidbits where, I mean, performers who sort of try and deconstruct or mess with that idea. I mean, sort of part of that comes down to the way you approach sort of the opening of your show. Like, a lot of times it's sort of the general rule is you want to make sure you ingratiate yourself to the audience in some way. Tell some easy jokes up front. Easier, shorter laughs, like to get a momentum going before you hit them with anything. And it was sort of rather famous that the great comic George Carlin once began one of his sort of later career comedy specials. Like, he just came out clearly with a purpose to say something as the crowd was applauding him. And when that died down, he launched immediately into a whole bit about abortion. Just straight, like, not even... So, like essentially saying, like, let's talk about abortion, and then just away he went. And the sort of the balls of that, but also the confidence to know that you can start with something so controversial and bring it around. And he was very funny about it. And of course, George Carlin, also just a very intelligent person. He was one of the great thinking stand-ups, in that there was never a time where, even when he would be vulgar or crude, it was always in service of something beyond just being vulgar or crude. He always made good points.
It's not gratuitous.
Yeah, exactly. Not gratuitous. Stuff I get very interested in some of those deeper ideas, but also at the same time, like, if the funny man's telling funny jokes, I'm pretty content.
Right on.
A funny man or woman, I should say.
Funny individual.
Yes, the funny human being.
So I don't know if a couple weeks ago, I think it was, I told you, or saying on here, that I had, while drunk, accidentally thrown away some tools I needed.
Oh, yeah.
For my for servicing my pen. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what's more irritating to me, like me doing that, or me being wrong about doing that. Because I found my tools, the little wrench and the exactly where they were supposed to be, where they come in the packaging.
Oh, jeez.
So, I don't know which is more irritating.
Well, okay, for what it's worth, like, not this week past, but the week before, I had another in-class presentation, mm-hmm. And I was desperately, before I had to leave, trying to find my video adapter so my laptop could plug into the presentation system in the room I was going to be in. And I had a very specific memory of having taken the adapter out of my backpack, thinking, well, I won't need this for a while, which was like 2 weeks when I did it. And then I was just looking everywhere in my apartment for the thing, and like digging through drawers, looking on top of shelves, like all the places where I might have, thankfully it's a small apartment, but like all of the places where I might have put a piece of technology. And then, just desperate, like, with nothing left nowhere else to check again, I just opened up my backpack, and it was right where I was normally keeping it. The whole, like, God damn it. and then it dawned on me that the memory I had was not of removing the adapter. itself, but removing a separate power, optional powered plug for it. You plug it into USB and then into an outlet, because in some cases you might need that. And it turned out I never did. So it was just hanging out in my backpack for a while, and I took that out because I didn't need it. But that got conflated in my mind with actually taking the adapter itself out of my backpack. So yeah, I felt smart about that. That was a great bit of stress before. Yeah, and I mean, everything went fine. It was, in fact, I think it was my best presentation of the 3 I've had to do this semester. So there was at least that.
Yeah, one redeeming thing.
Yeah. But so I've, because I know last week you were talking about how there were the issues with like the pen and the ink, like the sort of residue that was being left in there. Is that all cleared up now?
Oh yeah, that was a bit ago. Yeah.
I mean, I know you'd said like it thankfully was working, but now that you have like the actual tools to clean things and stuff, has that pen been doing well for you?
Unfortunately, I filled the pen back up before I found the tools.
Right.
And I mean, it was all cleaned out when I filled it again. Luckily, it didn't damage or anything like that.
Right.
I got a cleaner from Goulet Pens, and unfortunately, I think that I don't have any justifiable reason to think this, but I think that might have affected the silicone grease that's used to lube the inner workings. Either
right.
that or that needs to be replaced more often than I imagine it would need to be, because when I filled it back up, it was very sticky. The piston wasn't as smooth as it had been before. I mean, you have to turn that piston a lot more than you might think you would have to, because to clean it, you have to keep flushing it. And if you're just using water, you have to do it over and over and over again. And so sometimes that's 20, 30, flushes, especially if you've been just refilling it with the same ink. I have been using samples, so like I'm not refilling it with the same ink.
Yeah.
Like some people might, if you're using a bottled ink. So, but if you're using a bottled ink, you might have to refill that. I mean, you don't have to go for, you can go for weeks without cleaning your pen. Mm-hmm. So, it might be more excessive, in my case, to flush it that way. But in any case, it's sticking, so I'm looking forward to servicing the pen in the future.
I'm sorry. You said that before, but that time I just couldn't help myself.
No, that's all right.
I'm terrible. I'm sorry.
No, I was amused.
I'm a 6-year-old. It's terrible. Actually, no, I don't think a 6-year-old would get that. I'm a 12-year-old.
You didn't laugh at anything I wasn't eternally laughing at. So,
I have to go service my pen. Just yeah. Anyway.
I got like an obscene amount of ink samples, like a truly obscene amount of ink samples. I won't need, if I go through one sample a week, I won't need any samples for 10 months.
Jesus.
Over 10 months. I went crazy with these samples, and the first one I tried was why am I talking about this when I don't have the name? It's Winter Persimmon in Japanese. It's an ink by Pilot Iroku's. So maybe it didn't matter. I didn't have the name. Hiroshi Zuku Yo. I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah, it's fine.
And anyway, it's this really beautiful orange. It's a fantastic ink as well, and I don't want to take it out to try something else.
Right.
It's a really expensive ink as well, like really expensive. And I ended up spilling about a fourth of the sample.
Yeah,
it was a masterful move on my part. It got all over my hands, all over the desk, and my desk is unfinished wood, so I have these pretty orange splotches on there now.
Well, at least there's that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Honestly, that's kind of part of the fun is getting inky.
You like to get dirty with your pen?
Yes, Ben.
Sorry,
my pen.
I'm an asshole. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so I don't want to spit that ink back out to yeah, we're done with this.
I mean, that's the thing. You get there, and then your mind is just like it's just rolled around in the shit, and then it just contaminates. Yeah. By
the time I said no, we're done with this topic is because I tried like twice to find a different wording as I was talking.
It's all my fault. I'm sorry.
And then I just table flipped in my brain. So
all right. Well, then shall we move on to the finale of season 1 of Twin Peaks?
This episode made me real angry.
Yep. Yeah. It sucks because I kind of want to now like see a bit of season 2 to kind of know or get a sense of like how they resolved this, but
yeah, this episode brought up more questions than it did.
Yeah, but I suppose as a show by that point that was going to get a second season, like it kind of makes sense. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna try to delve too much into that because I will probably be wrong. But yeah, so
it makes me want to watch season 2, like legitimately watch it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But so yeah, episode 8. Jeez, yeah. So it essentially begins with, oh Lord, I just watched it today. I gotta pull up. I'm real bad today. I didn't pull up a specific page for it yet, but the yeah, like it teases you like it's going to resolve and then it doesn't. Though there are some elements I'm glad didn't resolve. Quite frankly, but yeah.
I don't have a synopsis up, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm so bad. I'm almost there.
There are some definite things I'm happy have happened, though.
Yeah.
Show.
Okay. Yeah. So it did start. I thought there was something else briefly at the beginning, but no. Essentially, it starts with Donna and James going into Dr. Jacoby's office. They find the necklace and the cassette tape that Jacoby had early on in the show, like the pilot or episode 2, maybe. I forget exactly. And so they now. So they now have sort of I mean, I guess they were able to figure out what was going on enough. Or, well, no, they had the clue of the red Corvette, which we know connects to Leo Johnson, but we already know that for other reasons. And then, yeah, the weirdest assault in perhaps television history as Dr. Jacoby is like approaching the fake Laura, cousin Maddie, and then some guy in a ski mask just clubs him in the back, and he falls down, and then the guy just like just like angry adult toddler just like punches Jacoby in the back a few times in what appeared to be the like wimpiest assault in television history, which of course we later know it was what really hurt Jacoby. There was a heart attack caused by the shock and I guess the beating. But I was really taken out of any sort of sense of drama or focus by the nature of that attack. And what it even represents is just another open fucking question.
I was more alarmed by the weird noises he was making.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it was a weird assault. So then it cuts to One-Eyed Jack's, where the worst, most awkward sting operation ever conducted is. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's just Big Ed. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing, and that's fine. But anyway,
the Jacques, card dealer, he's so rapey. So rapey.
Yeah, he's disgusting. Cooper is playing blackjack with Jacques and shows him the broken $1,000 chip, and Cooper intimates he knows Leo Johnson and that they should go talk, and and he sets himself up as the financing behind the whole cocaine trading ring, and convinces Jacques that he's got a job just for him to go to the water treatment plant nearby or something, some secluded place to go get picked up by the cops. Obviously not what he tells Jacques, but then that goes into a very awkward scene that I'm glad didn't resolve, where Audrey is unveiled in her new whore outfit, like, let's just call it what it is, and she's going to have to meet the boss because he's coming tonight, which then made me go, oh shit, I think I know who the boss is.
Let's... Oh.
So, yeah.
I gotta say this, though, like, when they... Yeah. When he comes in, like, with his eyes closed, and, like, he's like, keep your eyes closed, I'm just like, oh, gross. Gross.
Yeah. That's later on, to be fair.
Oh, is it? God damn it.
So... So yeah, they set up, but yeah, the main action early at this point is they set up. Cooper talks to Jacques about what happened the night that Laura was killed, and that plays out this whole weird scene that was going on in the cabin. There was just, I guess, kink and sex play that was kind of intense, I guess. I don't know. It was still a little unclear exactly what was happening, but, definitely strange. And, yeah, continues to paint Leo as kind of a monster.
Yeah.
Which then leads to Leo being an actual unequivocal monster. He grabs Shelley back at the house and brings her to the I guess abducts her at that point. It's not clear where, but you kind of get a sense of something very bad going to happen. Let's see. Yeah, then they get Renault all very early in this episode. Andy does his cheesy like manhood claiming moment as Renault, when he's being handcuffed, elbows a cop, takes his gun, and is going to shoot the sheriff when Andy, a clear shot rings out of the blue and hits Renault in like the shoulder or something, incapacitating him, and he's arrested, and Andy's the hero, and it was all kind of cheesy and, I don't know, poorly acted. Andy is still a very awkward character, and yeah, which I don't know, is that better that way, that he's awkward, or not? I'm not sure.
The Barney Fife kind of thing he has got going.
Yeah. So they arrest Renault on charges related to the murders, or attempted murder and murder, and he gets taken to the hospital. Right. Yeah, and then the Mysteries Inc. James, Maddie, and Donna listen to the tape they recovered from Jacoby's house or apartment, and James hears Laura insult him brutally, and then they get the clue about the red Corvette, which then James goes to bring to the sheriff's office, more on which later.
I think we really saw more of what's the murder victim's name?
Laura.
Get
Get a much clearer sense of kind of who she was and what she was into.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Ooh. He had some secrets. But I suppose at the same time, I mean, we as the audience don't know anything about Laura. All we had was the sort of sense from the community that she was, this wonderful person.
I think that's something. I think that's something that they did very well, is that they started from that position of the community saying that she was a wonderful person,
and gave us some reason to believe. Like, she worked with the mentally handicapped brother of the hotel family, and so there were some things, but and totally unravel it as it goes on.
Yeah, but they did it steadily, and I really thought they did a good job doing I was about to say did a good job doing a good job, but they did a good job subtly and slowly, showing more and more the state of mind of Laura throughout the series.
In the private thoughts, and you kind of don't like her at the end. At least I didn't as much, certainly. But at the same time, it was also that sense of just youthful ignorance, like she's just kind of like it's clear that she's kind of, or it seems like she's just kind of playing with these things, and it ends up getting her killed.
I've known people that were had a lot of issues, and it didn't surprise me in any way. So I've seen people exactly like Laura as she's been presented, but so it didn't surprise me or give me that visceral negative reaction that you're talking about. But I totally understand why someone would have that reaction. Right,
and it is. I should clarify. It's not that I think she's a bad person or was a bad person, but it's clear that she was, in some ways, kind of in over her head. And it's like, oh, poor dumb person, you.
Yeah, she was really over her head because she's a kid, and in what is an abusive, would which needs to be separated. It's an abusive relationship as opposed to a proper BDSM relationship. I mean, she clearly had a fetish, and that's perfectly acceptable. But the difference between what she went through, which was just violence and abuse, is not the same thing.
Yeah.
So, and that coupled with her addiction and her age made it with a person who, is going to. I'm no psychologist, but who's going to lose their sense of like proportion and sense of you're going to be stuck inside yourself as opposed to understanding what you're doing to the people around you, or with the proper
a real lack of context and sort of comparable situations. Yeah, no sense of what is too much or what is sort of right or whatever it is.
Because the sense of morality requires that kind of outward sensibility, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the more you're just hyper-focused inward, the less you're going to be a moral individual, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Sorry, I kind of got us on a...
Well, no, that's fine. That's how this should go. So then we go to the sawmill with Leo. He ties Shelley up, and she's going to die in the fire because she broke his heart.
Yeah!
Boo-hoo-hoo, you son of a bitch.
How fucking weird was that? That he just like, you broke my heart.
Yeah, the weird self-centeredness. And another example of the sort of male machismo, sort of piggish misogyny, and evidence in sort of three of the main male characters. One, maybe not main, but like essentially that idea that what a man does is okay, but the women have to be loyal to the men. Essentially, it doesn't matter that Leo was doing whatever he was doing with Laura or other women. It was, but his heart was with Shelley, and that's all that matters. And all of the other stuff is her fault, and that sort of projecting, blaming the victim and all that stuff. So yeah. So he sets up a timer to set off the fire, and then we go and see Nadine, the eye patch lady with the runner's obsession, in what I can only presume was a wedding dress or prom dress or something, some significant dress from her life, right? Kneeling down in the living room, preparing a plate full of pills and some water to attempt suicide. And so things are kind of quickening here. That was just so, and she wrote a letter as well, because of course I guess you would do that, and we never see what the contents of the letter are, so I wonder exactly what the motivation was. Like, was she just so broken up? I mean, was she just so was her sense of, I guess, failure over her, invention idea and just maybe a general sense of lingering inadequacy too much, or was there some element of her maybe seeing or perceiving an issue, the things going on between Ed and Norma at the diner?
She did. She said that explicitly a couple episodes ago.
She did?
Yeah, maybe 2-3 episodes ago. Yeah, she said explicitly that because she was talking about her high school, about her and
and how
Ed.
yeah.
Is it Ed? Were in high school, and like she knew that if he just paid attention to her, that they then would have been dating.
Yeah.
But now she knows that wasn't true.
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember that element of it. I remember she told the story, like she was talking about when, like I guess Norma and Ed dated in high school, the popular jock and cheerleader kind of thing, and Nadine always thought, if I could just get Ed to see me for who I am, I would win his heart, and then she did because they ended up getting married. But I don't remember there being any kind of acknowledgement at that point. I thought that story was just there for sort of the audience to go, oh shit, when they're perceiving the relationship between Ed and Norma, and then to sort of have Ed stewing in his own sort of mess that he's created by continuing to pursue Norma. But I don't remember there being any specific acknowledgement by Nadine that she knew anything in the present moment.
I'm fairly sure there was, but I wouldn't bet $1 on it.
Okay. Because you still owe me.
I still owe you $5.
Anyway. Right. So then, and then we learn more about the ties between Hank, Norma's ex-con wife, and Jocelyn, the mill owner.
Sorry to interrupt you here, but this shows the age of the show with the racial slurs.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the racial slurs. The word I'm not going to repeat here, in reference to the ethnicity of the mill owner and the philosophies he was supposed to have studied in prison.
I don't remember there being a slur uttered, but I remember this sort of him sort of giving lip service to Asian philosophy or Eastern philosophy or something, and this weird ass justification for that whole thing just seemed so rambling and strange. Like I really wasn't following his argument, though I thought his conclusion was understandable.
Yeah.
Like I thought he argued it in a weird way, but the notion that, hey, I'm taking a big risk here, so I should get more money, like that just makes sense. But the way he chose to go about describing it all was very weird to me.
It was really weird, and any interaction with the mill owner's wife is really weird. She's just such a non-character. Like she just doesn't ever really appear to show any personality. So like any interaction at all. I know you're talking about his
right, yeah.
His argument, but that entire thing though, it was even weird to me. Like just the interactions.
Yeah. And I guess Hank also implies that Jocelyn knows a thing or two about what happened to her late husband, but nothing comes of that.
I'm gonna pause here and go back and retract. I want to say is trying to figure out the best way of putting this out there, but because like there's a word that starts with O, and it used to be used in reference to people of Asian.
Oriental.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to use it because I wasn't 100% sure if it was a racial slur or not. It was in my mind that was in fact a racial slur, or just not.
Oh, no, it's not. At least as far as I know, it's not considered a racial slur, but it is definitely considered like an ignorant way of referring to people from like Southeast Asia, and was a term used in like the early 1900s, but it's not offensive, just dumb.
For some reason, I got in my mind that it was, but then I realized that's like a ramen noodle flavor.
Yeah,
They're not gonna print that.
No, immediately what I did was just picture other racial slurs as food flavors. It's just,
wow.
like, oh yeah, I guess that doesn't fit.
but you get what I mean, though. Like,
yeah.
they're not going to use that as a legitimate printing thing if it's a racial slur.
Yeah.
So, okay, fair enough.
I was like, yeah, what, like, racial slur are you talking about?
But now you see why I had so much trouble, because how do you refer to something?
Yes.
Like, we could say the N word if we wanted to refer.
Yeah, the O word. Well, that's a whole different discussion.
Yeah, that doesn't...
Like, though, to be fair, in that in the context we're talking about it, it brings a whole new meaning to "let me show you my O face."
Jesus Christ!
Because that's just that now is just that really stupid thing where people pull their eyes to the side, you know.
Yeah.
That really
which is I was going to say that, which is most
the thing
racist.
That the Spanish national basketball team was for some reason doing in a promotional photo a few years back. Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know. I don't think I ever got a proper explanation of why the fuck they did that, other than that they were being really dumb. But yeah, I don't know. Wow. Anyway. Oh, people are stupid. Anyway. So yeah, and then Hank forcibly creates a blood pact with Jocelyn.
What the fuck was up with that?
Yeah, I don't know. That whole scene was just...
To be specific, he cut his... He grabbed her hand, cut his thumb and her thumb, and like...
Yeah, and then press the blood together. You've never encountered that symbolism before?
No, I have. I just wanted to be more specific. But
sure.
What I want to know is, why was she so into it?
She wasn't into it at all.
Yeah, she took her thumb and rubbed it on her lips.
Well, but she was clearly freaked the fuck out at that point. So I don't know what to say about the specific mannerism, but to me it seemed clear that she was just in shock. But yeah, I don't know.
She was probably in shock, and then it turned into it when she rubbed the blood all over her lips.
I don't think. Okay, no, I don't think. I think that's you projecting onto her.
Yes, I want to have a blood pact with a creepy rapey guy.
I'm not going to judge. It's your life. You live it. You do what makes you happy.
This has been a weird podcast.
Yeah, it has. So then from that point, the episode really transitioned into all the shit that just made me go, gah, for one reason or another, because we then see Catherine Martell, the mill foreman person, whatever, sort of second in command, going through her papers trying to find the ledger that was being cooked and solve the fact that she clearly finds that Jocelyn and Ben, the hotel guy, were conspiring to have her killed or something. She talks to her husband Peter about it, and this is where I was really sad and hurt, because I really liked the character of Pete Martell until they gave him a significant role in an episode, just to say this one, because he comes off as such an idiot.
He kind of is an idiot.
Such a blind idiot. And it just hurt me to see that. And God. I mean, in some ways, I guess it's better and less trope laden to not have Catherine to show clearly that Catherine takes advantage of Pete entirely, and that's kind of always how it's been on some level, and that even in that moment she's just doing what she needs to do to get what she wants. But fuck, like, did they have to lay it on so thick? Just God. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, she's clearly an abusive individual. I mean, like, I lost my thought. God damn it.
Like, up until that scene, I thought Pete was more sly than he let on. And then it turned out, no, there was nothing else to him. He was just the sort of, yeah, he was just a fool.
I had no additional thoughts about him except that he was kind of into the mill owner, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I had literally no other considerations over the guy.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
So Pete agrees to help Catherine and look for a thing. She gets a call, which is from Hank, saying, "Hey, the thing you're looking for is in the drying house number 3, which is where the fire's going to be." Not that she knows that, obviously. And then
I forgot, why did she go there?
To get the ledger that would prove that she was messing with shit. Yeah. Then we go back to the sheriff's office where the story of Andy's heroism is recounted very obviously in the area of Lucy, and she and Andy goes and, you know, is gonna sort of make himself, I don't know, I don't know exactly the right way to phrase it, but, you know, he goes to try and make amends. They kiss, it's very sweet, and then she says she's pregnant, and he just falls into a state of shock.
Which, by the way, I called it. I totally called it.
Yeah, you were right. She was, in fact, pregnant. And then, which was very, I guess they're still upset with each other. And Lucy was fantastically curt with the boys for their fresh coffee. And then she fields a call from Bobby, very stupidly acting as Leo on the phone, to set up his plant of drugs on James's bike. That message gets to the sheriffs, and then what do you know? James comes in to tell them about the cassette tape and all this stuff, and they go and have a chat. Which I was so sad that they were like legitimately that Bobby's plan was kind of working. Because they confront him with the drugs, and it's like, we're going to need to get some serious answers out of you, and then it cuts away again. Which, yeah.
Was kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah, I was sad that wasn't, like, it just because it's so annoying to see the truth so easily concealed, in a sense.
Yeah.
So, and then, Ed finds Nadine with her slumped on the floor from her suicide attempt. They go to the hospital. Oh shit! And I forgot one other important thing that happens when James goes to the sheriff's office is that Laura's dad shows up. It's like, you caught the killer? And it's like, no, we're not. We can't release any information. Blah blah blah. The doctor, who's also there, says like, I got to get back to the hospital. you should go home, Leyland. And then he goes, oh, hospital. So he hatches a plan, which, shit, getting himself involved in these things. Let's see. And then we go to Handsome Jack, or you're saying Handsome Jax. God damn it, Borderlands. One-Eye Jax. The agreement is signed. The property will be sold. Ben can finally get his rocks off on that, I guess. Which then leads to, I'll go slightly out of order here because I'm jumping around too much otherwise. So he then goes to see the new girl, and we get like moments away from the most awkward confrontation of this whole episode that just doesn't happen. Like, it just cuts away again as he's walking into the room telling this girl to keep her eyes closed, blah blah blah.
As he himself walks in with his eyes closed.
Okay, yeah. It's just, oh god damn it.
And since they did cut away, I mean, it's entirely possible that they, with seeing how the rest of the episode has been, aren't suggesting anything, but it's suggested that something actually did happen between the two.
No.
Because there was no resolution in this season.
Yeah, but okay, but at the same time, he's going to go in there, he's going to know it's his daughter. Like, there's not...
How magic? His eyes are closed.
What? Wait, so you're saying that they're going to keep their eyes closed the entire time?
Well past, like, the point of, like, something not happening.
I mean, I guess I don't know I guess I'm maybe reading too much in your definition of quote-unquote something happening, but, I mean, to me, at most, like, they end up face to face, or he's about to take off his pants or something, or weird.
No, I'm suggesting it goes well past that point where sexual things start happening.
You think they're gonna have their eyes? No, you're crazy. You're crazy. It was going to resolve before that, but it was still going to be a terrible shock.
But
no.
What makes us know that though? What?
Well, I think it's far more reasonable to assume they would have had their eyes open sooner than actually getting to intercourse. Like, you're the one who's suggesting that that these two people are going to be entirely, like, fumbling with their clothes, with their eyes off, and or their eyes closed. Like, you're just like begging for incest, is what you're begging.
Jesus Christ, no.
Like, come on.
Not at all, but maybe I'm wrong about the strength.
You are wrong.
Okay.
There's
all right.
no way they would have gotten that far. Like, yeah, maybe he kisses her or something. But even then, like, how would he find her if both of their eyes are closed? God damn it.
You know what, actually, like, the more realistic thing that would happen is, since the daughter heard the voice of the dad, it's going to most likely end not because the eyes are opening, but because she's like, holy crap, you're my dad. That's probably going to be what's more likely than... But
one way or the other, they're not going to get to anything beyond, like, a sexual, like, a sexual caress or perhaps kiss before it all stops. Like, it's not...
That's pretty significant.
No, still, but far, far and away from, like, actual intercourse. Jesus Christ. Like, come on.
I wasn't necessarily suggesting it was going to be actual intercourse. There are things that are sex other than intercourse.
Like, are you saying he's just going to put his dick in her mouth? Like, what the hell?
Grabbing a breast is a sexual thing.
It's a sexual thing, but it's not sex.
Yes, Ben. Yes, it's.
okay, look, again, I'm not, like, I think this is just a semantic issue. Like, we've just misunderstood what the other is saying. Like, yeah, I'm not saying that, like, nothing sexual is going to happen, but when you were calling it sex, that to me means something more than just, essentially what I would classify as foreplay.
Foreplay is part of sex. It is sex.
No, it is not sex. It is part of the larger process, but it is not sex.
In any case, I was wrong, but not for the reason you said. I was wrong for the. I'll admit that.
Sure.
Begging for incest. Jesus Christ. What the fuck, man?
Well, that was me being uncharitable and intentionally an asshole, like for comedic effect. I was not actually suggesting that.
All right.
I know you're not a pervert, a disturbed sexual individual. You are not that. I know you are not into incest. But at that point, I was going to comedically extend your point to absurdity. So, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, now that we've spent enough time being deconstructive, let's finish up what happens here. So, Bobby goes to try and find Shelly, but hey, it's Leo with an axe trying to kill him. Bobby gets all snivelly and tries to say, "No, I'm trying to tell you that the cops are after you, man." And he's like, "Bullshit." And like, well, obviously he didn't actually say that because this is 90s broadcast television, but like Bobby gets knocked down in front of the TV, he's gonna die, and then another shot from the blue as Hank goes to finish off Leo. Shoots him, I guess, in the chest through the window or something. Leo falls down onto the couch, but he's not dead. He's just in shock. And I feel like he's not going to die again.
No, he died.
No, he was still, like, breathing and looking around.
He got shot in the heart. Yeah, but it takes a little bit to die.
Given the way the last time he got shot went, and and maybe I just missed something, but I did not see a clear wound on him. Like, I know he got hit, but I didn't see exactly, like, it wasn't clear where it was.
Yeah, there was a clear, distinct bullet hole in his undershirt on the left side. No, wait. Nope, that was his right side. Yeah, it was his right side. So yeah, I don't know if he's actually dead, but I am now. I just believe that he will not die, and it will continue to frustrate me. I actually thought that was a really amazing scene because, like, of him dying if he's dead, because I commented on, I don't know, a couple episodes ago, we were talking about how the soap opera with it that they keep showing is used as a communicative tool as opposed to just a secondary thing. And then the Leo-esque person in that show dies, which I thought was interesting.
Well, he also gets shot, but I don't think that character actually dies visually that we can see, as opposed to visually that we can hear. I'm an idiot. Anyway. Yeah. So I'm just convinced now, like,
Leo is
cynically, that he's not gonna die. I want him dead. That character needs to die.
I agree, because I was still working. I was working under the assumption that he died, and I was like, well, I was so irritated with the series. With the ending, that I was just like, well, at least that happened.
Yeah.
But I want him dead. But if he has to suffer more, I'm not gonna.
Fair point. Yeah. And then the bomb goes off. Well, actually, the bomb is about to go off as Catherine arrives at the sawmill, drying hut or whatever. She finds Shelly hung up and going to die. which led to a very weird moment where Catherine is just like super calm about this whole thing, and Shelley's like, because she's got a thing in her mouth, and like and that's the line. Like, I can't understand what you're saying. You've got a thing in your mouth. Like, yeah, thanks, Captain Motherfucking Obvious.
Yeah.
Like, and then the timer goes off. And fire starts spreading. Actually, no, I think Catherine comes up and like takes the gag out of Shelley's mouth, and she tries to like quickly explain as Catherine's like, what are you doing here, and what involvement do you have in this? And then the fire starts spreading, and Catherine is just like this weird sea of calm, like we gotta do something. I'm thinking, and then
yeah, what the?
Like she's some kind of fucking Terminator or some shit. Like, what was that?
Well, I was like more of, why the fuck do you need to think? Like,
yeah, like cut this person down and get the fuck out,
or just leave. You know, like the building's on fucking fire.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. So, but yeah, she cuts down Shelley, and they, I guess, try to leave, but we don't really see what happens. We go then to the outside of the mill as people are responding to this fire that is spreading, and Pete like rushes in to save his wife, and one last threat of danger. Yeah, I guess this is arguably, maybe this is just where the show is intentionally trying to throw up the dumb soap opera plot stuff, like trying intentionally to be like a cheesy soap opera, which I guess maybe makes more sense. I don't know, but yeah.
I wonder when the progression of the show, like when they knew they were not going to be, or that they were going to be forcefully. How did it go? Like, did they?
Oh yeah, before I was mentioning that I heard that the murder wasn't supposed to be solved, but ABC was like, no, it's going to be solved by the end of season 1.
Well, it seems like it just feels like there's a lot more is being shoved into this episode than we had in any other episode, but still not a lot to comment on. I don't know, it was weird for me.
Yeah, like things just kind of wrap up, like elements wrap up and other questions are asked, but at this point it just kind of feels like, oh, for fuck's sake, rather than compelling.
Yeah,
I think in some ways, but of course maybe too. I mean, I don't know. I guess I was expecting more things to be resolved at this point, and in some ways I guess credit is to be given for not everything resolving and new questions to be asked. But yeah, still it's like, oh, I think maybe it's mostly because I wanted to see Leo fucking die finally, but I don't know. And then so then speaking of death, two characters. Leland goes to the hospital and smothers Jacques and gets crazy eyes. Like sets off a fire alarm so everyone sort of evacuates, and then he smothers him and then steals away, and who knows what's going to happen there. And then we go back to Cooper, returning to his hotel, so pleasant that they're so pleasantly to find that the Icelanders have either, as he puts it, checked out or passed out. We get final, I think, proof that Diane is a real person.
Yeah, we did.
Because he specifically mentions he received the earplugs he had asked for in a previous episode. So,
well, we got enough. Well, I still don't believe that she's a real person. But
then what's
I don't know. It just seems like if you were. Let's pretend you don't have an assistant, right? And if you were doing this kind of creative way of keeping a log, like it would seem to me that even if you got the earplugs a different way, would you then suddenly not commit to the log? To the style of the log.
Okay, yeah. Actually, you know what? To be fair, I should retract my statement slightly in that the the thing with the earplugs doesn't actually prove that Diane is a real person, but it gives a strong indication. It gives an indication that she is.
I think it's more likely that she is a real person. However, I just have this feeling that she's still not the person, because we're just literally told she's a person.
Yes.
So like we it's behooving on us to believe that she is. I'm just saying it just doesn't feel.
How trustworthy is the narrator? Yeah.
It just kind of feels like that it would be more fitting for the character to for that just to be still a thing.
Yeah, you're right. No, I know what you mean, and yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, Cooper is back in the hotel. He goes into his room, sees the note that Audrey was trying to leave for him for a while in the last episode, the episode before, as he was leaving for One-Eyed Jack's. He gets a phone call. Now the synopsis is saying here that the voice tells him not to open the door, and I don't know about that, but it's a call. It is a call from the sheriff's office. They're saying, it's some development. Cooper, there's a knock at the door. Cooper thinks it's his room service for some warm milk. He puts the phone down. We hear through the speaker that it's Andy and that they found Leo. Oh, right, yeah, and they say he's been shot, and they might then say there he's dead, now that I think about it. Dope. I was not focused on that, so I wasn't even thinking about it, because I was like, oh, shit, who's at the door? Right. So, okay, so maybe Leo is dead. Yes. But yeah, so then Cooper goes to the door, and there's just a gun, and and we see a close-up of his chest getting shot 3 times. And scene.
I have to say, I was like, what the fuck is up with this ending?
I swore out loud, yeah. God damn it. But, they got to set up season 2, right? Like, that's, or leave some kind of mystery. I mean, really, though, from my understanding, like, if Lynch's goal was to leave the whole thing unsolved, even if it was just one season, like, all right, fine. He's achieved that, certainly. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if you were watching it on Netflix or not, but it was.
I was. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw when the episode was almost done with the credits. It showed up the next episode, the front.
Oh, I closed, like, as soon as I saw the first credits appear, I just closed. I stopped it, and
because then the opening scene of season 2 is real weird. I didn't play it. I just the front picture. It got real weird.
I did not see that, so I don't know. I know nothing about it. Oh, all right. Well, season 1 is done. I enjoyed it. Like, it's still cool. Like, I like the show and all that, but yeah, I'm kind of a little bit. But yeah, it was still good. I can understand why people enjoy it. And now I can say I've seen it.
Yeah, I would give it a 3. 3 out of 5.
I still think I'd give it a 4.
That's reasonable. Yeah. I really enjoyed sometimes, and some of the times I was just like, eh. But yeah, it's totally, the first season's totally a worthwhile thing to enjoy.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll have to have this conversation probably best off air, just so it can be more focused. But we'll probably next week start up something new. Or maybe it'll be season 2 of Twin Peaks. I don't know. All possibilities are open. But was there anything else, Devin, you wanted to say before we wrap up here?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Is it my turn to do the outro? I
It's
totally forgot.
my turn.
Okay.
I think.
No. It is your turn because I remember last week struggling a lot trying to make the intro. So
Yeah.
so it's my turn to do the outro. Fuck. Okay, sorry. I'm bad at podcasting. All right. So again, next week we'll look into something new. I think maybe what we'll do, actually, smarter thing will be next week we will not have to we will not watch anything for next week, but part of next week will be us talking about what we're going to watch. How about that? So that we're not expecting people to try and pay attention to a place where we would announce what we're going to watch. One way or the other, next week we'll be starting something new. One way or the other. So
yeah.
Anyway, we'll get out here on some music. I discovered this, which is really cool. The band Yacht that does some interesting sort of disco funk revival, particular strangeness on DFA Records, actually released the instrumentals from their most recent album, Shangri-La, under a Creative Commons license, so we can use it as outro music. So
Nice.
this is the instrumental to Utopia by Yacht. Go out and buy this album; it's fantastic. And this has been the World's Worst Podcast.
Bye.